Alright folks, this is a how-to video on how to make an HHO generator to produce HHO gas. It is lighter than air, so you can fill balloons and float them, or it's flammable, so there's plenty of practical uses for it. But this is a quick breakdown on how to put one together. This is my method. There are other methods with some probably more detailed instructions on YouTube, but this is a good, cheap, effective way to do it. And I'm going to break it down for you. So what you're going to need is some kind of container, jar. Pickle jar works just fine. You could use Tupperware, something airtight that can handle a little bit of pressure and can hold water. You're going to need like DC power source, any kind of car battery or lawn battery or whatever will work. You're going to need, they say to use stainless steel because it is the most rust resistant of any affordable metals. And these are prefab wall mounts. They're stainless steel from the hardware store. They're a couple dollars each, but you can just as well cut some old scrap metal. You're gonna need some bolts. Stainless steel, like I said, works best. You're gonna need some metal washers, and you're also gonna need some plastic washers. If you don't have any plastic or nylon washers, you can take an old gift card and cut it. It'll serve the same purpose. Little gift card, and it's pretty easy. So this is how it works. Oh wait, one other thing. You're going to need some tubing, some kind of hose. Something practical that'll fit. And you need some wire. I use jumper cables, which double down for the clamps. Also, they clamp onto the battery. And okay, so let's get into it. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut your plates however big you want them. Each plate you're going to put a big hole and a little hole in each plate. The reason being is because each one you want to alternate them. You want the small hole, I call that my positive. You want that touching metal. Okay, so when you hook your wires up to this at the end, like this, you don't have to use clamps. You can just twist it on there and use bolts and washers, but you can use the mounts. But anyway, you're going to have positive and negative. I call this my positive, and it's touching metal. Okay, so I have a metal washer on the bottom here. On this one, I have a cloth washer or a plastic washer, and the hole is bigger than the bolt. You do not want this bolt touching metal. You do want this bolt touching metal. So that's your first plate. That's your big hole, your little hole. Okay, the big hole, you're going to put your plastic washer down. Okay, and the little hole, you're going to put a metal washer down. On top of the metal washer, you're going to put a plastic washer to insulate the next plate. Okay, on top of the plastic washer, you're going to put a metal washer to metalize the next plate. So where the plastic is, that positive is now going to be the next negative. Then you take the big hole and you put it there. So these washers act as spacers also. So same thing here. You're gonna you don't want this touching metal. You might want to make these holes a little bit bigger, so to make sure you have a little wiggle room. But then so you take your plastic or cloth washer and put it on the big hole, and then a metal washer. And on the little hole, the metal washer, then the plastic washer. So you keep alternating it like that, and then at the end, just put a bolt and squeeze it down. And if they're touching, you could use little pieces of gift card or anything non-conductive to space it out and tighten it down. Usually does the trick, or just leave them in. It doesn't matter. But that's your finished product right here, with the holes drilled through the jar and the tubing drilled through the jar. I use super glue and baking soda because I'm impatient. But you could use silicone or whatever, just so long as it's airtight. And one thing not to forget is to put some type of salt or catalyst in your water. You want to use distilled water, and baking soda works just fine. Salt works just fine. They say that you get a chlorine gas byproduct, so if you use table salt, then make sure you use do it in a well ventilated area or outside, or just use baking soda or Epsom salt. But so what you want to do, you put this in here after you add the baking soda, and you screw it in. And then one more thing, you want another jar. Okay, normally, see, this is a double generator, because my next video is going to be all about this and what I'm doing with it, which is going to be cool, so make sure you check it out. But so normally this hose is running into another jar, and this second jar, you want two holes. You want to run this tube down to the first hole to the bottom, fill it up with a little bit of water where it bubbles through the water, so if something happens and it catches on fire, it's like an arrestor. It stops the flame from getting to the source. And then just your other hole, your second hole is just going to be, you don't need it running down any distance in there, just so the gas comes out of there. And then it's pretty much complete. Then you could, like I said, you could blow up balloons, or you could blow up balloons, whichever you want. But make sure you check out my next video.